Ambassador Velthar's scales rippled with satisfaction as he gazed upon the holographic display of Earth. The blue marble hung suspended in the war room of the Crithian Empire's flagship. Innocuous and undefended, his mandibles clicked together in what passed for a smile among his kind. "The humans refused our ultimatum," he announced to the assembled war council. "They have chosen extinction." General Zartok's four eyes blinked in succession. Their response was, "Unusual, Commander." "Read it again," Velthar commanded, his confidence unwavering. The communications officer's voice trembled slightly. They said, and I quote, "We've survived ice ages, plagues, world wars, and disco. You're welcome to try." Laughter erupted through the chamber. The Crithians had conquered 47 star systems in the past century. Their military doctrine was flawless, their technology superior. These humans, barely capable of faster-than-light travel, would be added to the list within a solar week. "Deploy the first wave," Velthar ordered. "Standard siege formation. Cut off their supply lines, destroy their orbital stations, and await their surrender." What the Crithians didn't understand, what they couldn't understand, was that humans didn't have a standard military doctrine. They had thousands of years of warfare against themselves to draw upon. Conflicts fought in every conceivable terrain, climate, and circumstance. Every mistake had been made, learned from, and catalogued. Every tactic had been tried, countered, and refined through blood and determination. The first wave of Crithian cruisers entered Earth's solar system with parade ground precision. They encountered no resistance near Neptune, no ambush at Jupiter. By the time they reached Mars, Velthar was already composing his victory speech. Then the asteroids began moving. Not the natural drift of celestial bodies, but the purposeful acceleration of rocks that had been hollowed out, fitted with engines and packed with enough nuclear material to crack a moon. Hundreds of them. Camouflaged among the belt, impossible to distinguish from natural debris until they were already burning toward their targets. "Evasive maneuvers!" Zartok screamed, but the Crithian formation was too tight, too perfect. The first asteroid missile struck the flagship's sister ship, and the antimatter detonation lit up space like a newborn star. 17 cruisers died in the first 30 seconds. They weaponized rocks? Velthar's voice cracked with disbelief. The second surprise came from Luna. What the Crithians had dismissed, as mining colonies revealed themselves to be mass driver installations, electromagnetic, railguns the size of city blocks that could accelerate, projectiles to a fraction of light speed, no shields, no fancy energy weapons, just kinetic force following the simple, devastating physics of EMC-2. A tungsten rod, no larger than a telephone pole, punched through a Crithian dreadnought like it was made of tissue paper. "Fall back to defensive perimeter," Velthar ordered, his scales now pale with shock. "Regroup it," the communications officer interrupted. "Sir, we're receiving multiple broadcasts from Earth, every frequency, every language we've translated. What are they saying?" It's music, sir. Something called Fortunate Son and battle footage from their own wars. Hundreds of them." Velthar pulled up the feeds and his blood ran cold. Humans in trenches covered in mud, holding lines against impossible odds. Humans charging machine gun nests. Humans flying primitive aircraft into enemy ships in deliberate suicide runs. Humans building empires, losing them, and building them again. Humans fighting with swords, with spears, with their bare hands when nothing else remained. And they were laughing. In the current broadcasts, the humans defending their world were laughing as they fired their weapons. "What kind of species?" Velthar whispered. The answer came as Earth's actual military fleet decloaked, not around Earth but behind the Crithian force. They had been waiting, hidden in the moon's shadow, using it as an ambush point just as their ancestors had used hills and forests. "Clever apes." Admiral Chen's voice crackled over the open channel, speaking perfect Crithian. "Did you really think we'd just wait in orbit like sitting ducks? We've been fighting wars since before we discovered fire. You're not our first genocide attempt. You won't be our last." The human ships were smaller, less elegant than the Crithian vessels, but they moved with a chaotic unpredictability that the AI-assisted Crithian targeting systems couldn't track. They flew too close, used their own damaged ships as cover, and employed tactics that no sane military strategist would approve, because they weren't sane by galactic standards. One human corvette, engines failing and leaking atmosphere, deliberately rammed a Crithian battleship at full thrust. The explosion took out 3 more enemy vessels in the debris field. Retreat! Velthar finally screamed. Full retreat! But humans had learned about retreats too. They had learned to pursue, to harass, to ensure a routed enemy never regrouped. The Crithian fleet that limped out of the Sol system numbered less than 30 ships from an initial force of 200. Velthar sat in his command chair, staring at the tactical display. The War Council was silent around him. They didn't just fight us, he said quietly. They enjoyed it. General Zartok's wounds were being tended by medical drones, but he still managed to speak. The humans sent a final transmission, Commander. What did it say? Thanks for the workout. Come back anytime. We could use the target practice. Velthar's scales turned the color of ash. In the Crithian Empire's 1,000-year history, they had never retreated from a primitive species. They had never been outsmarted, outfought, or outright mocked. As the fleet jumped to hyperspace, Velthar made a decision that would later be encoded into Crithian law. A galactic exclusion zone around Earth, marked with a single warning in every known language. Dangerous. Do not engage. They were born in war, raised in war, and they miss it when it's gone. Humanity had passed their first test among the stars, not with diplomacy or wisdom, but with the same stubborn, creative violence that had carried them from caves to spacecraft. They had shown the galaxy something terrifying and beautiful, that Earth's most dangerous predator had always been humanity itself. And now the galaxy knew it too.